What's up, otakus? How you guys doing? How you guys and gals doing? Um, we have another package. Uh, it's just two books, but it's my latest acquisition, and we'll unbox this and share what that is. But before we get to that, this video is really, um, I think James Gunn, the way they've done the casting and announced the movies and all that, it's become apparent to I think all collectors that uh, where we're headed is along the path of this Justice League Volume One. Um, you know, already we know Booster Gold is coming. We know, okay. Blue Beetle is getting his new. He's just coming out with a movie, so Blue Beetle's there. We know Guy Gardner is coming. Okay, we know Guy Gardner is coming now, so Guy Gardner's there. People got a taste of Doctor Fate, right? We get the female Doctor Fate, and again, all these characters are probably gonna end up because I think where we're going is we want to go international, right? We've got an audience in Asia. We've got an audience in different parts of the world, Latin America, Europe, right? Um, Africa, the Middle East, Russia. Just so much diversity in the world. It would make sense if you're going after global ticket sales to represent as many big markets as you can. And so and it's so much fun. This Justice League is a real sort of like you can adapt it to movies. You can adapt this writing and exactly what happens into the movies seamlessly. It's like its own screenplay, right? So I think it's a brilliant choice by Gunn, and it also makes me want to pick up this entire series and give this more focus now because we're headed here. This is exactly where we're headed. Okay, get a good look at those characters. Okay, because all those characters are coming to Gunn's DCU at some point. They're working there. He's working. He's building the foundations, but he's introducing big characters, and he's going to do it in a way that I think that's going to be that's going to integrate everything. They're all going to come together. So it's brilliant. Anyway, I entrust James Gunn all the way, and this is Justice League #1, right? This is what we want to see happen. Unfortunately, like Shazam bombed. Dr. Fate, I think, died. We'll have to see how Blue Beetle does. Hopefully, he doesn't go by the way of the Flash. And then, like Mr. What's his name? Mr. Majestic? What's this dude's name? Mr. Magic? Mr. Magic. Or Mr. Majestic or something. That dude's coming. Martian Manhunter, we've been waiting for him for like ages now, right? He's like one of the original Justice League members. So Martian Manhunter is not anywhere to be seen. So I mean, it's a great way to introduce again the core Justice League people integrated and mixed with. So again, like Flash, Wonder Woman, Batman, Guy Gardner, Booster Gold, Blue Beetle. who else? Mr. Majestic, Mr. Magic, or whatever his name is, Martian Manhunter, and a bunch of characters there. So I don't know. I wish I were more versed in the characters here, but yeah, something to keep in mind. Hello, Miss So. Yeah, awesome. Glad I could keep you company. Thank you. Um, so it's speculation, right? Because you never know what's going to happen. But again, given all the characters and knowing James Gunn wants to put something on screen that is unique, innovative. Hey, what's up, fanboy? I mean, see, like I know fanboy already knows this. This is coming, right? He knows it's coming. So, um, James Gunn is going to lead us to this path. Justice League International, a team. It's basically Justice League led by Guy Gardner, not Hal Jordan. And there's a lot of comedy in this. So this is a Keith Giffen, J.M. DeMatteis collaboration in terms of the writing. It's brilliant comedic and sort of intense dramatic writing. And then you have Kevin Maguire, doing the panels, and he's such a master at really just the facial caricature. He's just a real master at everything, like just drawing. He's a great animator. So, right? I've been saying like James Gunn's wanting to do something absolutely, unique. And this is not your standard comic book. It really elevates comic. It's a departure, really. This is like your first kind of graphic, really adult, kind of mature graphic novel. That's what it feels like more than a comic book. It feels more like a graphic novel, and that's what I'm saying. Like graphic novels are really ideal for adaptation because it's it's in the moment. You're dealing with scenes. You're dealing with one scene and then another scene, as opposed to just like action like the faster sequences in a comic book. It's a slower sequence. So yeah, I am going to, because these are dollar books, right? They're dollar books. But I think going after Justice League America, Justice League International, keys is a good idea to do. So anything, pick up the Giffen DeMatteis Maguire keys. Okay. For example, this is a big key right here, the number one issue. This is another key, the number one of the Justice League International. Right? No, this is, sorry, 24. 24. Justice League International. Another big one, something like this, the Exorcist movie cover. That's just a fan favorite, I think. Another one I'd pick up. Great covers like this with the Blue Beetle. Great covers like that. Great covers like this. This is probably a key as well, but it'll be a fan favorite for sure. Once these guys get, once the DCU building blocks are there. So, I do want to say something about some of DC's failures as of late. And I do think the quality at DC needs to improve. I will say that first and foremost. But at this point, DC has to succeed. So we maybe you're not a DC fan, maybe you're a Marvel fan, but hopefully you're a comic book fan. And as a comic book fan, just having Marvel stuff do well doesn't bode well for, pop culture. We have to see DC get there. We have to help, and we have to support that. So, um, just because you think, oh, that movie looks really, I don't want to support DC or I support that movie. Don't have that attitude. Go and watch everything that comes out. Just support it and be positive about it. Just like, you know, I think a lot of this negativity, we kill the building blocks before they get a chance to really sprout and grow. I really feel that way with Black Adam and Shazam. I think Black Adam and Shazam, that that culmination would have been really cool, but they killed it. They basically, fans killed it before we ever got there, and that's what I'm saying. Like, let's not let that happen. Let's just support DC in its moment of need. Okay, this means buying the comic books. This means watching the animation. This means uh, watching the movies, okay, and not bitching and moaning about how awful it is, or bitching and moaning about, I wish they'd bring you know the Snyder the Snyder Justice League and Superman back. Quit bitching and moaning about that, and let's move on. All right, James Gunn is bringing the heat. Okay, I think James Gunn is literally bringing Marvel's formula plus alpha. Like, it's going to be better than Marvel's formula because it's going to be completely innovative, especially if he brings this writing team into the screenplay room, right? If he gets them into the movie screenplay room, man, it's over. You're talking about like a complete different tone of movie making that James Gunn is potentially putting out there, right? Like, if he gets these guys in a screenwriting room and says, "Hey, what should we do for Wonder Woman, the next Wonder Woman movie?" And those guys write the next Wonder Woman movie. You're talking about like, just like, it's gonna make DC, it's gonna elevate DC's brand to a whole nother level. And so I'm really excited about that. But at the same time, I'm tempered because of all the nonsense. I haven't watched the Flash, but I've heard the criticism around the Flash, and that's something DC has to address. They can't be putting out bad CGI. They can't be putting out, sort of like, oh, the audience, they're not going to notice. No, we notice, right? So they've got to also, deal with some of the behavioral health issues of their actors. I mean, get them some help. Don't throw them under the bus for a failed movie. Get them some help. Get those actors and actresses, more jobs. They can voice stuff for the animation. That doesn't have to be a complete like failure, but yeah, we've got to support these creatives. That includes the writers, the actors. I hope everybody's on board with support. Like, I'm fine with not watching movies and whatever, uh, and just basically not spending money on entertainment, canceling my like Netflix subscription. I don't have one, but I'm saying if I had one, I would cancel my Netflix subscription in support of um, the actors and writers. And I think everybody should be doing something to support. Um, you know, I don't know if I don't think the screen writers and actors have anything to do with comic books. Maybe some of them double dip in writing on screen and writing for comic books. I'm sure there are. And I'm sure there are actors who also, lend their maybe vocal talents to like DC or um, whatever the case may be. Um, I think we have to support DC no matter what. So amidst this strike and all that, please go watch the DC movies and the DC content, and that's it. You don't have to support anybody else. You don't have to support Disney. You don't have to support Marvel. They're the same. You don't have to support Sony, Nintendo, but they're great companies. You should. But for sure, please support DC because I got a lot of DC love. And Jim, I got to support my boy Jim. All right. Now we can get to the unboxing of the 2 books that I've added. Now, yeah, I don't think Gunn is a savior so many people think he is. Well, we'll see. Only time will tell. He hasn't actually done anything. All this Blue Beetle, even the Blue Beetle, right? He had nothing to do with the planning of Blue Beetle. He had nothing to do with the planning of Flash, right? These were things that were already in the works. And again, the Flashpoint resets it all, so it's a complete reset. He gets to work with whatever that reset looks like. So I'm kind of looking. I am looking forward to it. Whatever. Again, I'm going to support it whether it sucks or not. Okay, because I think James Gunn deserves at least like 4 or 5 movies in before like people start to realize, oh, okay, this is where it's headed, right? So that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. Earn our support. I think you meant earn our support, right? Make these companies earn our support. Well, I kind of disagree with you there. I think, these are public institutions. We can't let them fail, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like DC won't fail. DC have, they've got so much licensing. They're never going to fail. But what they don't like to see is their brand losing to Marvel, right? They don't want to see that because this is the brand and the franchise is what the DC. I mean, it's all about the DC brand, right? So I'm also all about the DC brand. I love I prefer DC characters. Uh, you know, that's where my heart is in terms of over deep like Marvel character. I love Marvel too. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying it's one or the other. You can support both, but that's what I'm saying. Like if you're a true like comic book aficionado or collector, or whatever, you want to see Batman, Superman do just as well as Captain America and Spider Man. Okay, it's just as simple as that. All right. Well, we got one book. Oh, and you got put it in the Mylar. Thank you. We got another book here. Whew, I'm very excited about these books. And so so I just got up. I got up the other day. I think it was it might have been a Thursday. It was just a random thing. I got up and I started looking at eBay listings. And for whatever reason, I said, you know what? With the money we have, we might as well pick up these books. Because I think later, these kinds of books are going to be harder to pick up. And anyway, until I show you what they are, you're not going to have any clue. But this tape is kind of making me worry a little bit. It's like, there we go. That should do it. Okay. All right. That didn't do it. go. All right. Whew. All right. This is a beautiful book. Oh my goodness, it's a beautiful book. These boards I want to keep because I think they're Golden Age boards, which is what we've been wanting as well. Thank you for the Golden Age boards. Let's see here. Just gonna cut that piece of tape. Well, let's move the book first. Wow, this is a beautiful book. It's such a beautiful book. Okay. All right, got another message. Let's just cut this off here and we'll be good. There we go. Yeah, I mean, okay packaging, I guess. The tape was just a little bit of a nuisance. But I'm glad you threw these Golden Age backing boards in. These will go into... I've got some Golden Age comics coming. Actually, I don't think I'll need the... Well, yeah, I might. For that Superboy, I might. I need to get a Golden Age Mylar and a clear backing board for the Golden Age book. But anyway, that's something you guys don't need to worry about. All right, so I'm gonna, all the sort of the Green Lantern spec. We know Guy Gardner is gonna be the Green Lantern. What we don't know is how that comes to be, right? But it looks like it's going to be outlined in Superman Legacy. So I'm really looking forward to that, just to see how he's introduced and what his backstory is. Now, maybe they don't get into his backstory. Maybe his backstory comes in like a solo film or something. But I just hope it isn't like he shows up and then he uses his ring and then says some corny line and skedaddles. I hope it's nothing like that. I hope it's more thought out than that. And then I'm sure Gunn's not going to, do his boy Guy like that. So it's going to be a very interesting. I know a lot of people have issues with the casting. They think the actor is too old to play Guy Gardner. So again, like it's maybe toward the latter part of Guy's, Guy's like story arc, right? I think the age he's currently at is more than adequate to carry him into the Justice League International. So that's not an issue, right? He's not that young in the Justice League International either. I think he's in his like 40s or 50s as well. All right, see ya, 4-color. Well, anyway, I picked up a big Green Lantern key, and that is, well, it's not a key, but I think it's a key because of the iconic cover. We have Green Lantern number 52. This is a Gil Kane masterpiece, and it's a great. We have them on the cover, but we don't have them finishing each other's sentences and facing off against each other. Hal starts off, in brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. And then Sinestro interrupts and says, let those who worship justice's might beware my power. Sinestro's light. So, that is really a cool pickup. I am loving this book. All right, so I did not realize that Batman Damned was this big. So I purchased it but I didn't realize it was like this magazine size. Um, yeah, thanks, Comic Book G man. Thanks, dude. Thanks for joining, man. Good to see you. Um, um, so yeah, my I got this book here. It's a variant cover for Batman Damned Book Two, and this one is again the Jim Lee variant cover. I think Lee Bermeo did the original cover. This is a signed copy. Jim Lee signed it right there in the corner, and I just had to have this because the artwork. Look at that Batman. I mean, look at his suit and the gold-plated bat. Oh man, that's just is that gold-plated? Anyway, it's like something. It's shiny. The bat symbol is shiny. That's some bling right there. Man, is it a this is so freaking amazing. Um, the thing is, like, in terms of storing this, it's in a bag and board. I guess that's why the extra. I'm gonna first of all put two backing boards in there because it just doesn't feel secure the way it is right now. Let's get some more support back there. This is a great book, man, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, in terms of like me picking up Jim Lee stuff, it's going to be Jim Lee key books. You know, we're going to be focused primarily on that, but also just the great like cover art that Jim does. And so there's, you know, like I think first of all, most of what Jim Lee does on a cover is just masterful. Okay, so there's really a lot to pick up in terms of that standard. But so kind of where I draw the line is like characters I like. So I like Superman, I like Batman, I like Wonder Woman, I like X Men, Psylocke, uh, Spider Man. I mean, there's a whole range of characters that I like, and and even if like let's say Jim Lee, where I don't like, there's like what's a character I don't like? Um, Character I don't like. Uh, I guess Barbie. I don't like Barbie. But if Jim Lee were to do a Barbie cover, I would want it, right? Like you'd want it. So, um, yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say is when Jim Lee focuses on the characters that I like, um, is where we'll try to focus, right? So this is definitely a character I like, and it's also a character Jim Lee is highly adept and he's associated with. Um, I think Jim Lee's Batman is probably more popular than Jim Lee's Superman. I know that's the case. Uh, that was the case for Neil Adams. Neil Adams' Batman um, is much more coveted than Neil Adams' Superman. And I know this from the market standpoint. You pay a lot more for Neil Adams' Batman keys than you do for Neil Adams' Superman keys. But hopefully someday that will change. I think it's just because Superman's kind of we're in this lull of Superman. Like people just aren't excited about Superman when they should be. We've just had this like explosion of super. Mind you, Superman. I mean, you could say Flash Gordon. You could say like I guess Buck Rogers. You could say there are a lot of like 50s like cinematic sort of superhero cowboy-esque or military-esque like action type movies back in the 50s, right? But if we're talking about like the modern age of cinema and like specifically superhero characters, Christopher Reeve's Superman was, I believe, the first major motion picture for a superhero. So he is the first. Okay, he was the first comic book. He was the first superhero movie. So when James Gunn announces something like Superman Legacy, fresh take on Superman, we should all be excited. We should all go support it if you support Superman. You know, Superman's an American institution. Okay, it's a reason why we collect comic books. He's a reason why you watch Marvel movies, because if that Superman did not have success, it made 5 or 6 movies or something like that. But if it did not have that initial success, Christopher Reeve Superman one. If that movie did not have the initial success, it would not have spawned Batman '89 and the Keaton Batman, right? And it wouldn't have spawned everything else that came after that. Because the Keaton Batman was the real moneymaker, right? Keaton Batman made so much money in merchandise, toys, like you name it. They were everywhere, right? So, yeah, that those two characters, Batman, Superman, they kind of own um, rights to comic book movies. So um, let's be patient with James Gunn. Let's give him some latitude to create and do what he wants and support it. Vocally support it. Don't be this like even if you feel deep inside, you feel like, man, this looks like more garbage from James Gunn. Just lock that opinion inside and just lie and vote and just vocally support it. I do that all the time on social media. I just like, yay, hooray, good for you. Um, a lot of that is just like whatever. Like, some of it is like authentic, but sometimes it's like you just don't want to deal with getting in an argument with someone, so you just kind of support them with a tone of irony. But it's cool. All right, so Green Lantern, love this book, just absolutely love this book, and we don't have to do anything with it in terms of so I don't think I'm reserving the best 50 books for the the Mylar, the clear backing boards, and my slabs, basically. So this isn't necessarily collection slab worthy, but it's definitely one of the more, I think, valued books in my collection in terms of like emotional value. Yeah, I mean, and it's going to be such. I mean, this is a. I'm surprised I got it for. I got this for. Uh, $15. I got this for $15. And it was shipped along with this. So this one was $22. Yes, signed copy. $22 plus $7 shipping plus 15. So this whole thing cost about $35 plus tax. So what is that? $38. $38 for those two books. I can't believe I got this for $15. I mean, this is now it's not the best grade. It is a good copy, okay? But I have so many good copies that present beautifully. And this is another copy that It's a low grade book, but it presents like a mid grade book. Um, no big issues, just a lot of small little issues, and but the artwork pops. That's what you really need. Boom. So very excited about that. And I'm excited about this. Look at this. How awesome is this cover? I'm going to give you a really close up view of this again because you guys need to see all the detail. I don't know if you can see it actually. There you go. You see that detail there in the suit? Oh man, is that. And it's just like dark subtle detail. And then you have this background where it's like burning, and it's a burning building behind him. So damn, Batman damned. That's damn good stuff. um that's it. I mean, I am going to be on with a comic book worm, Nama, aka Naman Young. um Namyan Hyung and I are interviewing someone for our Meet the Collector series. I believe we have a collector on, but I may be wrong. We may be having an artist, and if it's an artist, my apologies. Please forgive me. But I was under the impression I think the dude was a collector, so I think we're gonna have. And in fact, let me just get his. Let me preview that Meet the Collector. So we're gonna go on with Meet the Collector at 8 p.m. Pacific. So I gotta hop off, grab some dinner, and I'll be right back on to interview. And we are interviewing tonight. On your horses. We are interviewing Comic Collector Geek. Comic Collector Geek. And that is I think his name. All right, well, I won't give out his name because he might not want us to give out his name, but Comic Collector Geek. That's his Instagram account, and I believe his YouTube account as well. Comic Collector Geek. Maybe that's Comic Book G-Man. Is that you? Comic Collector Geek? No. Kenneth is not Comic Collector Geek. All right. All right. All right. Thanks for popping in. All right. See you guys later. Peace.